Hi and welcome to Entrepreneurship with Christo. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of interviewing Mr. Ilias Zervas. Ilia is a Greek entrepreneur who hovers between Athens and Kalamata in the Peloponnese. He is involved in a number of ventures. Most notably, he's a popular singer in Greece and also has a business consulting arm that deals in a range of things, including wind farms that generate electricity. Ilias is also a commentator on politics and the situation or the place that Greece has within the European community. He is an interesting and curious human being. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy a very familiar conversation with Mr. Ilias Zervas. I drop in and out of Greek all the time, particularly if I'm speaking to you. So I'll apologise in advance for that, I guess. But I think I look at your life and I think it's so fabulously disjointed from a. It's not like you went to be an accountant or you said, okay, I'm a musician and that's all I'm going to be. You did your music business. I'll call it a business, but you did because it's a business, right? You're producing a product.
It's a business.
Yeah, you do.
The fact that I enjoy it does not make it less of a business.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, it's a creative business. It but has all the same challenges. You've got a product, you've got a price, you've got a logistic, costs that you undertake. Then you want to create something that's long standing, but you're the product. Like you're the product. The bee enterprise, all right. The windmill, stuff, and God knows all the other things that you're doing. So you're basically you have this portfolio of projects, and you see things in an entrepreneurial way. So that's the thing that I just want to talk about, because I don't.
Sure, I was very happy. I was really happy that you asked me to do it, and I really look up to you as a businessman, and I am always trying to learn things from you, and it's quite an honor for me to tell me that I want to interview on the podcast. I felt very special,
No, I had nobody else. I had no one else.
Yeah, I said to Sahin, I said, Peter wants to have me on his podcast. And he said, oh, shit, yes, very nice.
Shahid. Well, I actually mentioned him on the last interview I did with a guy who's doing augmented reality through glasses.
He told me.
And who happens to Baha'i. He's a Baha'i.
Yeah, he told me that. And he said to me, you know how good of a man is Uncle Peter? I said to him, go on, I know, but go on. And he said to me, he used my name in his last podcast because he was interviewing somebody that was a Baha'i, and he said my name. And then, the cute Uncle Peter writes me a message and tell me, I'm sorry, sir, I used your name without asking you. And he found it very cute,
Well, I'm respectful of people's privacy and all that sort of thing. So I know some people are very, very private. But I respect him as my nephew, just like I respect you. And you're not babies, you're grown men. You're grown men. Have to remember that you're not babies anymore. So I'm recording, and I'll work out the editing. I'll edit out stuff. But
yeah, okay.
And if I look across here, don't be concerned. It's just I'm checking the equipment and stuff. But maybe say a little bit of an introduction, introduce yourself to the audience, and just let them know who is Ilias Zervas.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting question. Well, I cannot really tell you one thing that describes me, because I've always been all over the place. I really like to try new things and to experience things in my life. I'm trying to do serious business and at the same time have fun with it.
Mm.
And any project that comes my way, and I think that I can do both, I will accept it. No matter if I know exactly I have the how it's called, like the technical background. Um, I'm always confident that I will find out how to do things. And so long that kind of mindset have served me uh, extremely well. So I would say, well, I could see myself like I don't know, an explorer or something.
So so remind me, your educational background was, so obviously born and raised in Kalamata, God's own city.
Actually, I was raised until the age of 12 to a fishing village in Koroni.
Yes.
Then we moved to Kalamata, and after I turned 18, I left Kalamata to come to Athens to study biomedical engineering. And I had some musical studies while I was still at school. I studied guitar, violin, piano, and I was in the choir
Oh yeah.
of the auditorium. And the music has been always a very big part of my life. And when I came to Athens, at the same time that I was at the uni, I spent some time studying, um, studying singing.
Yep.
So,
So that's really a core passion, the singing. So you still do that?
yeah, I actually have a show on the 17th of February.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I've grown up to to be a full-time musician. It's very difficult to be a full-time musician because you're going to have a lot of shows that you don't really like to do. You're just doing it to make your living out of it. But at this point, I'm very happy because I can do the shows that I want to do.
Right. Right.
So it's very. This is one the best part uh, of being a musician.
Right. And tell
You
me,
do
okay,
the
so
old
that's
music.
you as I guess the product. So you have a band. How does it work from a business point of view? Is it a
Well, yeah, I am a performer, and I can perform with or without a band.
right?
Because now with modern technology, it's very easy to have backing tracks.
Right.
When I am in the studio with a band, I can record everything very easily, and then go on a stage, have the backing track that is just the music, and I'm doing a voiceover. And I still have a band, of course,
Hmm.
but not all venues and parties are suitable for a band
Right.
because a band is expensive and needs a lot of equipment, a lot of space, and you cannot have a band just to perform 5 songs and then at the end of the night another 5 songs. It's too expensive, and
Yep.
so this is the way that I'm doing my musical career. I'm managing it, and something else that I'm doing as a performer, I start to have a lot of invitations to organize the parties and the nights.
Oh, okay. So there's a
So
spin-off business.
yeah, because since I was having a long story, like for 10 years or more, I've been organizing a lot of live music shows, parties, and that kind of stuff. People thought, oh, well, he has the experience to do it. So that gave me another business perspective. Maybe I'm going to sing in a party, but at the same time organize it.
Right. Okay. Do you?
And it,
Pardon me. But that's just still comes to you. You don't. Do you market it, or it's just word of mouth? Ilya,
well, in the music stage of Athens, um, let me say that I'm actually doing a very specific kind of music. I'm doing American swing, and I'm doing jazz music from all over the world, and I'm doing a little bit of opera music.
right. Okay.
I am tenor.
Yeah.
So the people that are interested in this kind of music in Athens, they have heard of me.
Okay.
I have a page in Facebook that where I put all my events, and I have a YouTube channel that people can find my work. But usually it's mouth to mouth. who organized this? This guy, can I have his contact?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
is usually how it works.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll make sure we include that stuff in the post. So so I guess it's interesting. So that's that I guess artistic side of you that has that side business, but you don't market it outbound. You just rely on the inbound. So you don't see it as a you know I don't mean to be putting words in your mouth, but I'm just asking the question, I guess. Do you look at that and go, okay, I'm getting some business for events, so maybe I'm going to set up a separate company or a separate, business name and have its own identity. So then when somebody refers to me, they get a bill from a separate business, and then you can put, employees underneath. If it grows, you can market it. You can do a deal with a partner and say, look, I will produce the jobs, but you'll manage the back end and actually turn into something longer term from a ongoing business and sustainable business perspective. Do you think about that?
Well, here is the deal. Uh, I have to choose what kind of business I am going to go after.
Mm,
And in Greece, event managing it's not very profitable because most of the shows and things that are going to be put it up are small scale.
right.
And at the same time, I have other projects that are more profitable and more interesting. And I think that I kind of protect music because I spent the time that I was a full-time musician,
Yeah.
and at some point I started not enjoying performing.
Right.
So I understood that, and this is something that has to do with the musical stage in Greece. Because if I decided to go to perform in Bouzoukia,
Yeah.
I don't know how it's in English, Bouzoukia.
Yeah.
Uh, I, I would make a lot of money, but I would not do the kind of music that actually speaks to my soul.
Right.
So at some point, since I can make good money by doing other things that I found extremely interesting, I thought that it would be better to protect music
Yeah.
and have it for something like a special getaway from everyday stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I guess that I hear about that in a lot of situations where not only from an artistic point of view, but even the people who are when a business is very very early in its development, they're still in the garage, as we say. They're inventing, they're solving problems. Then by the time the business grows, they start to lose the people who are actually doing the hands-on development and innovation, start to get into management. And the last thing I ever wanted to do was management. And the last thing that they're
Yeah.
actually very good at is management. They're better at the technology side of things, or the creative side of things, or the innovation side of things. So it's an interesting one. That might be an interesting segue. And I do want to talk about the other, I guess, endeavors with the windmills and the beehives. But maybe we tell us a little bit about, in 2024, what is happening at the moment more generally in the Greek economy, and how that affects business entrepreneurship, particularly starting businesses and getting commercial. What is it like in Greece? I can tell you it is relatively straightforward to get a business going in Australia. To get it
Yeah.
going profitably, I think is just as challenging as anywhere else. But I sense, and I could be wrong, I sense that Greece is or even Europe in generally, but particularly Greece is a particular type of animal that you need to understand a lot of things that you probably don't need to understand in other economies.
Yeah, that's very accurate, actually. Um, Okay, to begin with, Greece is in a very bad state. Um, I know that maybe in the news you hear that the Greek economy is doing better and better and blah blah blah, but this is just propaganda. Um, I will tell you that most of the economy in Greece is supported by small scale businesses, and small businesses are having a really hard time survive today.
Mm.
Uh, First of all, um, it's the first time that I can remember myself to think that the political situation right now in Greece does not care. No, not even one of the politicians does care about Greeks. They don't care. They just have an agenda that I think probably it's a European thing, that they stick to it and they don't listen to the people's need, and they don't do nothing to improve everyday life in Greece. We have a lot of raids between civilians today. Like 2 days ago, we had a small business of a couple that they were doing very well in the center of Athens, and because most of the businesses are not going well, some people get in their shop, smash everything up,
Oh, really? So
and this is
I presume they're a retail business. So other
yeah,
retailers took issue with how well they were doing and they attacked them.
yeah. Well, thing is that since they cannot attack the people responsible for the situation, uh, people start to turn at each other's throat.
So why were they doing well, whereas the other retailers weren't doing well?
Well, I will tell you because they had understood that the way to make a business profitable is to not to wait for somebody to come into your store, but to use marketing.
Right.
And both of them, they are doing other jobs in the side too.
Mm.
One of them is a journalist. The other one is an ambassador for a big
Brand.
company with
Right.
liquor.
Right.
So uh, they understand that if they it's a collection of things. They know how to do good business, but the thing is that the other people did not think, okay, let's see what they're doing and let's do it ourselves.
Mm.
They got so much rage against the politicians, and since they cannot turn against the politician, they
Right.
start again to turn against to their neighbor.
So it's how it's
And
expressing itself. It's expressing itself. The body starts to eat itself rather than dealing with the problem. But can I ask though, why don't so if what you're saying is right, why don't the politicians care about their constituents? Why don't they care about the making the situation better for Greece? Why do you think that is?
why they don't care?
Yeah.
Well, I have a theory that the politicians in Europe have made so many mistakes in the past year that they have consumed the biggest part of the people's wealth.
Right.
And today they have to do things to cover up their dirty businesses on the back of the people that they have been voting for them. I don't say that the people are saints, because they
Mm.
voted them and they gave them power. But now the old countries of Europe have started to sink under bad choices in the past, and that is creating a chaotic situation, especially for the South countries, because the Southern countries have always been, treated like second-class countries.
Yeah. Yes, I've heard that. I've heard that before.
Italy, Spain,
Mm.
and now things are getting out of hand because it's the first time that everything in the world is expensive.
Mm.
Housing is expensive, food is expensive, investing is expensive, traveling is expensive, cargo is expensive, everything is expensive. And it's the first time, I think, at least from what I remember, that we're having everything to be so expensive. So people do not have something to
Mm.
do to forget about the difficulties.
Yeah. So
Right now, to have a 50 square meter flat in Athens, you need 500 euros,
right.
600 euros.
Mm.
And the basic salary is 780 euros.
Right.
It's impossible to live.
Yeah. 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 Um. So so do you think that is because of I guess I'm trying to connect the two. So you've got a political climate, you've got and consequently you've got an economic climate, and then you've got people trying to just feed themselves. So entrepreneurship by necessity, start a business, do something to feed your family, all right? And then there's the type of people who come up with, bigger business or innovation or, invention type on opportunities, who then try and turn that into a business. It sounds like you're talking very much about there's a crisis, I guess, an economic crisis, and people are trying to survive. So if you're trying to survive,
Yeah,
it's very hard to be creative, right?
yeah. Actually, the economical crisis that we face was I don't know, a Sunday morning walk in comparison with what we're living today.
Really? Okay.
It's much worse, the situation, because we have a lot of violence and aggression, and the police is not protecting the people, and the politicians do not do nothing for the people, and it's really really bad situation. But I will tell you that the whole thing, this whole thing is happening because they are trying to force Greece into the international business ways,
Mm.
and Greece finds it very difficult to adjust
Well,
because
what's the that's an interesting. So that's probably the crux of the problem. So what is different? What is it? What is in your mind the international business ways
yeah,
versus how Greeks do business?
well, we have the big companies, but because an international big company will have a way of doing things in every country that they are,
Yeah.
and we have like I told you, most of the businesses are small businesses here.
Right.
Small businesses do the things in a very different way that are in every aspect, accounting, marketing, everything. They don't do nothing in the way
Sure.
international company will do. So that's, for example, startups that are a big thing in all the globe for quite a lot of years now. It's something that has been starting to get some fame in Greece the last years.
Really.
Nobody was knowing and how it's working, and everybody when they start listening about hearing about startups, they were like, "Oh, that sounds like a kind of scam." People are very,
Yeah. Yeah.
so the Greeks have a mindset that they're trying to do a lot of business under the table.
Mm. Yeah.
And this is because the politicians have always choose to overtax the people. The people find a way to get away from it.
So that goes into the monetary system and the financial system as well, by the sounds of things. Excuse me. Where because you're in the euro now and you can't print money to print your way out of it, to deflate the value of your money so you can improve your economy. Does that mean that Greece's hands are tied from a managing its economy point of view, and so people are kind of cornered in terms of being able to grow businesses and then become a little bit more sophisticated? So, when you start a business, yes, you might keep your receipts in a shoebox sort of thing, or you might do whatever you can, cut corners to try and get the business on its feet like a child. It'll fall down once in a while, but we eventually get it up on its feet. But if you're tied up in an economic system and you're the poor cousin of this economic system, you can't. The politicians can't enact monetary policy to improve the economy, and now you're at the mercy of Brussels. Where does that leave your average Greek, entrepreneur or person who's innovative and wants
But
to create something for themselves?
I will give you an example to understand how difficult it is to have a legitimate business in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you open up a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
You have all the license needed. You find the money that you need to invest, top-notch equipment, marketing plan, nice brand, everything is perfect. The first week that you're working, the people from IRS are coming, and the tax office,
Mm.
and they're coming and tell you, I will check all your books, I will find something, because if they want, they will find something, because the Greek law is very old. And what they've been doing is that they're writing laws over laws over laws. And so it's impossible to be totally legitimate because there is one law that nobody knows about. It's in the depth of the drawer that
Right.
they will pull it up at the right time and tell you, but you don't cover this. So they will tell you, so what you would like to be? You'd like a ticket? That tickets today are really, really high. I mean, it's destruction of a business if they got a fine,
Oh, like a fine. Yep.
or you would
Yep.
like to find a way around it.
All right.
So if you have the system asking you to be illegal, at
Right.
some point you understand that, well, I can be. Me, for instance, with my business consulting uh, uh, business that I have, I said from the beginning I'm going to be legitimate, and I issue invoices for everything. I have contracts. I'm doing everything by the books. If I had a family, even though I have quite good projects that I'm managing and profitable, I could not survive
Right.
because if you do everything by the letter of law, I don't know if it makes any sense to say
Yep.
it like this. Well, you have a big problem. You're going to pay too much taxes and too little will remain for you. So I think that the whole system needs a renovation from its roots. So what has been happening the last year that they're trying to put uh, Greece into the international market, they just, doing a paint job.
Mm-hmm.
But the walls are open.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you put a nice color in 1 week. You will still have stains from the from the from the rot.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
We're just putting layers of fresh paint over the old ones, and we say that we're modernizing the Greek economy, but this is not happening because nobody care for educating people how to do good, how to be good in business. Nobody cares to to give reasons to a business to be legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever try to make an equal market for everybody, because when you see that each government that is coming, they are giving all the big contract to their friends
Mm.
without caring for what is going in the market. Well, that's not fair playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So if let's say that somebody from abroad comes to make a business here, they will be really surprised about how things are working here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I guess that's I mean, going back onto what you said that the startup space is really only a few years old now in Greece. There must be something that is giving some people some hope that they can actually, particularly I guess in the digital businesses, where they can have a market that's so it's not a shop that's selling shoes down in Blacka. It's an online business and it's doing payment systems, or it's doing something that can be sold into Spain, into Australia, into America, whatever. It
Yeah.
sounds like there's still some sort of hope, and I'm imagining that even the universities, I mean, they must be teaching business, and the students that are going through that, even if they're young and
Oh, no,
inexperienced,
no, this is not working like this in Greece.
it's what, sorry?
The universe, it's not working like that. The universities are not doing what the universities in the rest of the world are doing.
What,
Here, the universities do not have a good grid of businesses to work with
right.
and to have a job waiting for a good student.
Mm,
It's not working like this. Here, the universities are run by very old people, if you understand what I mean, in every aspect.
right.
So the dean will have a son that he will put him in the university and will make him a dean in his position.
Oh, okay.
We're having
Nepotism.
a kind of, it's like royalty.
Right. Okay. Okay. Oh,
So
so I guess it's that the
unfortunately, this is
nepotism.
not working like this.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, look, there must be we say in English, there must be a point at which the chickens come home to roost. I don't know what the Greek equivalent is to say that.
Yeah, it's not all black.
Yeah.
There are some things that the people can do, but The problem with the startups is that most of them are financed by abroad investors. And so people from abroad are holding a good amount of the shares of the good businesses in Greece. That means that a lot of the money that these businesses are going to produce will leave the country.
And maybe that's
But
the answer. Maybe
you
that's
know,
the answer if you're starting up a business. Find a way to set it up in another country where basically you're a subsidiary of the Greek, the business is, the Greek
yeah,
business
that's
is
actually what
subsidiary.
what all the businesses that have a good product are doing.
Mm,
They have another company abroad, and they're managing things like this. Well, uh, it's a difficult period to start a business in Greece.
mm,
But I will tell you that if you're good to what you're doing and you're thinking out of the box, your business will thrive.
right,
Because as a bad educated market as Greeks uh, gives you the opportunity to shine. And if you're doing something good and you can manage, I'm talking about my business, for example. I didn't have to do anything with the wind farms,
right.
but
Tell us a
I
bit.
saved one.
Tell us a little bit about the wind farms for people who are listening. This episode is sponsored by 3P Legal. I've been a customer of Peter North as my lawyer and now 3P Legal for over a decade. Peter and his team are friendly and approachable, which takes the stress out of having to navigate the complexities of legal business matters. Whether starting a business, buying or selling a business, handling contracts or estate planning, their personalised attention and quality of work is second to none. Find Peter and his team at www.3pcorp.com.au or email pnorth@3plegal.com.au if you need commercial or personal legal services, particularly if you're a startup.
Well, I was in Tinos Island to for a concert, and I heard a guy that was trying. It was a very good person. He was investing. He was actually constructing a wind farm in Tinos Island that the municipality begged him to do, and then the municipality decided that no, we don't want it, and he had take the loans, bought the wind mills, and he would like this with debts covering it,
Right,
and he could not do nothing.
right,
So I heard him talking about it, and I went to his table and I said to him, "I'm sorry, sir, but I would just like to tell you, I overheard your conversation, and the problem you have is communication."
right,
And he said to me, "What do you mean?" I explained to him that you should communicate better with the public and prove that their mayor is just doing this to gain votes. And he was very happy with what I said, and he offered me a business chance to consult him. And I got really, really deep into this situation. And I don't know, they had demonstration, and I was in front of the people protesting, and I got really deep in that.
right,
And I managed, with the help of the rest of the people that they were working together in this project, we managed to save this wind farm that was doomed, and
right,
we managed to bring it in life and to make it happen. Now it's working, and it's very productive. And from there, uh, I got a lot of business in that area because people were facing the same problems in other areas, and they were like, "Oh, what we're gonna do? How did Yanis manage to do it? Let's call him." They called him. He said, "Oh, Elias is your person," and that's mouth to mouth. I got into
yeah,
this business, and now, in several occasions, I managed to come, in an understanding with the locals and find a solution so both the investor and the locals will be happy about the installments of a wind farm.
So obviously that must be underpinned by a change in the, I guess, people's thinking in terms of accessing cheaper electricity and also probably some of the policies from the Europe with regards to green energy. There must be the economics of it must be better for them. But I guess
Yeah,
where you're coming in, it sounds like what they seem to be lacking is a broader perspective and a way to be able to legitimately engage with the stakeholders, right? So I think what you're saying is right. So if the mayor of the town or the public servants, they're at the mercy of the crowds, and the crowds think that this is a bad thing rather than a good thing, changing that dynamic and the incentives then pretty well force their hand. And your personal character is perfect for that. I think being able to communicate a positive view on why something should happen and articulate that in words that they understand, metotroposu, as we say in Greek, that's very, very powerful. And I guess that's, you can apply that to everything.
Yeah, that's actually true. You can apply it with everything. And the only thing that I did in that situation, I asked the mayor to go in public chatting over the fact,
Right.
and he didn't
Right.
accept it.
Right.
So I got uh, an article that he wrote saying why a wind farm is bad for the. It has a lot of stupidities inside, like
Right.
things like that the windmills are producing radiations and things like this. And I just made a leaflet that I distribute to all the island.
Yep.
With one side, what the mayor said, the other side, what is really happening.
Right.
And this starting to create a very big amount of people in the island thinking that, well, I don't care if they make it. And okay, we had the hot-headed that they were like, no, this will not happen. But eventually, logic thrived and we finished the works.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
And the mayor,
Yep.
the last year we had elections.
Yep.
He lost the election
Oh, really? And you think that was a part of
because,
it?
well, actually, I published an article 2 weeks before the election, and I said I actually put the things again to the mind of the people. I published an article saying what we should remember from this mayor.
Right. Right. And
And he lost the election.
so when you published the article, how did you get it out? Did you just put it online, or how did you get people to read it?
Well, when I started working with that project, I checked out to see the local online blogs and things like this. Some were friendly and some of them were not. So
Right.
I knew which were the friendly one, and there was one online newspaper.
Yep.
So I sent them the article. I said, if you think that it has any value of you, and they put it out.
Right.
So
Okay.
how?
All right. And so, okay. So what's next for Ilias Zervas from your portfolio of ventures? So we haven't even talked about the bees, but pardon me, it's early here, so I'm still I'm still shaking off the morning. So what's happening that's positive at the moment for you? What's probably the most exciting thing that you're working on?
The most exciting thing working at the moment. Well, I have a new project that I'm doing with my best friend, Anastasia. She's a fantastic photographer. She has huge talent into uh, photography, and I have been trying to take a business out of it. So I finally managed to put her to work with that, and we started a business that we call One Dot,
Right.
and it's a company that we take a product. I take care of all the legal side, the consulting, marketing, how to do things, the organization of the sales department, and things like this. Doing the photography, and we take a small business and we give to it what it needs to go properly in the market.
Oh, okay. So they're I guess they're all their collateral for their marketing. So for not only for their website, for brochures and for all that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, everything that
Right.
they need.
Okay.
We set up the website, we set up the social, we tell them how to run the social. We
Okay.
can run the social for them if they want.
Right.
Uh, if there is a product, we make a presentation, a proper presentation of the product. If there is not a product, because maybe we have a company with services, we will create a video showing their services, some pictures showing them on site doing what they're doing, things like this. Well, actually, I'd like to think it like we're taking a company, a business with good potential, and we help them find the way to achieve their goals.
Yeah. Okay, that's big business in the West. It's lots of businesses that try and do that. And how are they finding you? Are you marketing this, or is that people just word of mouth? They're coming to you.
Yeah, actually, we did. It's very fresh, We
Yeah.
have already. Uh, uh, we started that like 2 months ago, and we already have 6 big clients, and we're very happy about it. We have a web page coming up very soon, and we have an Instagram account where you can find product photography, and we attended some expos where we meet a lot of producers and small scale producers and tell them that we offer these services. We're at this point, that we're trying a little by little to get our name out there.
So from a administration point of view, if you've got so many, so okay, you've got your consulting business, you've got this digital media business, you've got a number of other things. Do you set up a separate company for each one, or do you run them through one company with different names?
Yeah. Okay. I have 3 companies.
Right.
One company is for all the agricultural things that I'm doing, everything that had to do with agriculture, nature, that kind of things. It's one thing by itself. I have a company that consulting that is my business consulting for projects like the wind farms and things like this.
Yep.
That from where I'm doing ISO certifications, business consulting, and marketing consulting, business development consulting, business continuity, that kind of thing. And the third one is for the more artistic projects. The one dot is more artistic things because for now, all our clientele is asking us to put um, to make them look good.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of separate the three, and the three will do their own accounting and their own taxes and all that sort of stuff. Where does the music business fit in? Does that go under the?
Well, the music is uh, here we have something that is called personal
Okay.
company.
Right. Right.
I don't know how it works in
It's called a
Australia, but
sole
here when
trader.
you have yeah, when it's like freelancer,
Yep.
let's say
Yep. Yep.
it's like a freelancer. So for my music, I am using this for tax and things like this, but there it works fine because the company that is under your VAT number, it's your name. So my
Yep.
name is how the people recognize me in music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's worked out fine there.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. Look, I think there's a lot here. Um, I am interested in digging into um, the startup ecosystem, and maybe we can do it in like another meeting, like another online interview, because I think there's a lot to unpack here for the Greek and also the European ecosystem of entrepreneurship, because it sounds like you've got a whole host of challenges within Greece around the economy, but also it sounds like the entrepreneurial mindset is very unusual. So I think you're a little bit of a unique creature, where you have this. You can see the negative aspects, but then you can see the opportunities associated with being able to operate in that, call it chaos or call it difficulty, whatever you want to call it. So
Can I just add something here because you said a very nice thing about the negative aspects and opportunity. Well, I will tell you from my experience, the point that a business thrives is the point of a crisis.
right,
That's why when we're doing a risk analysis in any business, we're talking about dangers and opportunities.
mm,
Because from what I've seen, all the business that they have managed a crisis sufficiently,
mm,
they thrive afterward.
yeah.
So I think we should start having a more spherical view of
Well,
things.
yeah, and I think, look, a lot of that comes from education. So you've always been quite a curious obviously intelligent human being who is happy to do some work to kind of understand a situation. So, your sciences. And I remember when you were younger, doing, the astronomy, so
Yeah,
you have this curious nature. And I think that's really, really important. And having a curious nature and having a sense of adventure to go and explore and do things that, they're not guaranteed that they're going to be successful, but you learn so much along the way. And then after a period of time, you start to see a pattern. You say, oh, I've been here before. I've seen this before. If I do it this way, it's going to do this. And if I do it that way, it's going to do that. And I think that's very, very powerful. I think my own view on a lot of this stuff is the problem, particularly here in Australia, is that everybody wants to de-risk everything to the point where there is no risk and everything's going to be successful. And guess what, mate? That's just not the way things work. You have to fall down. You have to scrape your knee. You have to endure some pain.
I totally agree with you. And I think that this is one of the biggest problems of modern world. What I scream to my customers, especially the small businesses, is I don't know how to say it in English, but I talk to them about entropy.
Right.
I tell to them, when you were in high school, did you remember one lesson that it was 2 pages of the whole book, and it should be half of the book? What is entropy? You understand what is entropy? Nobody remembers that, but
Right.
I think that entropy applies to everything. It's impossible to have unlimited happiness and success. It's impossible.
That's right.
And when people get some problems in their hand, they are frustrated. They're like, oh, what I'm going to do? They're getting crazy. I totally agree with what you said. I think it's the biggest problem we're facing.
Yeah. So I guess mindset. I think it's also important to have some skills. So from the Greek education, and look, I would say the same thing here. One of the things that we don't do in Australia is teach children about, in the younger years of school, about finance, managing their accounts, understanding how money works. The irony there is most people don't understand how money works. They think that they do, but they really, really don't. And when they dig into it, they kind of freak out. But understanding some basic fundamentals, I did some lecturing years ago, about 15 years ago, and I was teaching business, and I said, so why are you guys here? Like, why are you teaching business? Am I to assume that you want to make money? Everyone goes, yes, I want to make money. So everyone in the class is probably about 50 students. Everybody wanted to understand money. I said, fantastic. So to understand money, I would assume you understand how interest works. And a lot less put their hand up, except maybe 15% put their hand up. Yeah, I understand interest. I said, okay, so if you understand interest, if I said to you, I want you to show me how to compound interest, $100 over 10 years, growing at 10%, or 5%, I think I said, and show me how it compounds and what the final figure will be after 10 years. Because obviously, if you know how to do compounding interest, you'll know how to do a discounted cash flow. So if you're looking at money into the future, there's a risk associated with it. So $100 today, even in a normal economy, is going to be worth less in the future, purely because of the risk, not even because of inflation, and just purely because of the risk. And so that got a little bit. So a few more people put their hand down. They go, oh, fuck, what am I dealing with here? One guy was left. He said, I know how to do it. I said, fantastic, come on up. And he came up to the screen. I had a computer there with a projector on the screen, just a simple spreadsheet. I had the $100 on the first thing. I said, do the maths. No, he couldn't do the maths. And look, poor guy, he was young, but also he was probably under a bit of pressure now. 50 other people were looking at him, and I think I would probably stuff it up too, But to do something simple. So I guess my point is that there's some core skills. So you can say, look, I have a vision for a beautiful house. But if you don't know how to put a nail through the wood, if you don't know how to cut a piece of wood, you're going to have a problem. So in business, you do need to have some sense of how corporate structuring works. what a business actually is, a legal entity, what can be sued, what can't. Having an understanding that's not hard. I can teach it to somebody in an hour. All right. You do need to have a sense of how accounting works. You do need to have a sense on how legals work. You do need to have an ability to negotiate. All right. You do need to understand pricing and something on marketing. You do need to know how to sell something, even an idea. See, there are certain skills that you need to acquire along the way. You can do it the hard way through experience, and experience is fantastic. But having an understanding of the body of knowledge that's out there, and I would say this in any country, the body of knowledge, that what works and what doesn't work, and then make it your own. Go out and experience it and go, you know what? He said to do it that way, but my experience is actually it's a little bit like this, but at least you had a starting point. And then and then you clip it onto your tool belt. The degree doesn't matter. That thing is nothing. It's the ability to apply the knowledge, in a way. And it's not all sizzle. When you do a locanico on the barbecue, there's the sizzle, and then there's the actual locanico, right? You need locanico. And the sizzle. The sizzle's the marketing. But if there's no locanico, what are you sizzling?
True. Yeah, what you said is, if you want to run a business, you have to be like a Swiss Army knife.
Yes, absolutely.
You can provide solution to understand a lot of things and solve a lot of small problems.
Absolutely.
If you want to eat a big bowl of soup, you need a bigger spoon. But that's something that will come along the way,
Yeah, for sure.
I really agree with you. And I think that most of the businesses that they're not thriving, it's because they are very stressful with their decision and they do not use common sense to their to their things. I mean, to their πώς είναι απόφαση?
The decision. The decision. Yeah.
Their decision. People, it's like they're forgetting common sense where at the moment that they should stick to it.
Yep. Look, I think we might leave it there, Lia, and I want to do this again a little bit more often. But to wind it off, why don't you? And I invite you to do it in Greek. I guess, let people know what you're doing, and if they want to contact you to help them with their business, or they're interested in some of the services that you provide. Say your piece. Tell them who you are and how to get in touch with you if they've listened to this and they're interested.
Well, the best way to contact me, it's by email, and because it's very easy for me to organize a online meeting like the one we're having now. I will say my email. It's very easy. It's Ilias, ILIAS Zervas, ZERVAS 51 @gmail.com.
Okay, I'll put that on there. Anyway, did you want to say a couple of words in Greek?
No, in Greece, like 90% of the people are very fluent in English, so no worries.
All right. Okay. All right, Leventi, we'll leave it there. All right.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure, because you know that I've been following your podcast for quite some time, and I really always enjoyed listening to you. And what I said you in the beginning, that it's I really like it because it's two friends chatting. I had exactly the same experience. So thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Anytime, Ilya. Okay, I hope you enjoyed what is obviously an interview with my nephew in Greece. That aside, he is a very, very interesting cat. And I really, really enjoyed having a chat to Ilya. I hope to get him on the podcast again. Thank you for listening. If you've got any comments, want to reach out, simply email me at hello@entrepreneurship.au. And until next time, stay well and stay curious.